Amazing day to all. This is Teacher Dan Rogayan, and welcome to another episode of our Let Review Drill. This is part of our preparation for your March 2025 licensure examination for professional teachers. For this episode po, we will be rationalizing general education items or Gen Ed. So I have prepared 20 items in this episode at samahan po ninyo ako sa pagsagot natin ng 20 items na to. So let me first I'll share my slide. All right. So again, for this episode, we'll be covering a mix random questions in general education for our let review drill number 4 for general education. So of course, let us all be reminded future LPTs that our goal is to pass and even top the board licensure examination for professional teachers. And let us all claim and manifest that. So I know that you've been preparing no, for since day one. So these particular drill will just give you some snippets of other information that might help you in your board exam. Okay? So for our drill number 4, this will be mixed questions encompassing several areas in our general education. So the questions actually were posted in my Facebook page, Sir Dan Rogayan. It's a lab review page. I've been posting question of the day, both in Gen Ed and Prof Ed, and of course, science majorship also. So if you haven't been following the page yet, you can actually like and follow the page. So basically, the 20 item questions here which I posted in the page, we will rationalize and explain them. Okay? So I hope you have your pen and paper with you. So samahan niyo ako for the first for answering our 20 items. For item number 1, English, the section of a newspaper or magazine article that provides the writer's name is known as blank. A byline, B banner line, C headline, or letter D deadline. All right, so we're talking about here the writer's name. So when we talk about the writer's name, we're talking about, that's correct, it's the byline. Letter A is the answer, that's the byline. The name of the writer or the name of the author of a certain article. Particularly, of course, sa ating mga news article, even other parts of the articles like feature article and even our opinion column. So for byline, as we mentioned, our writer's name displayed in an article, while the banner line is a large headline that spans the width of the front page. So also known as the banner headline or the streamer. So yung pinakamalaking headline, no, that's the top headline of the newspaper, we call it the banner headline or the banner line or the streamer. Headline, of course, the title of the article, particularly of a news article. Ito yung ulo ng balita kung sa Pilipino. Okay? Well, deadline, of course, indicates the submission time for submitting our article to our editor, no, prior to printing, no, if it's in the case of a newspaper. Okay. Item number 2, English. What is the primary purpose of an editorial in a newspaper? A, informing. B, entertaining. C, expressing opinions. D, reporting facts. So what's your answer? Okay. So for this, the primary purpose of an editorial is correct. That's expressing opinions, right? So we express, no, the editorial board actually of the certain newspaper expresses its opinion in a certain issue or in the uh current situation, no, of the nation probably or of a certain locale. So that is expressing opinion, the primary purpose on editorial to present the publication's viewpoint. And just in case no matanong who writes the editorial, so not necessarily the editor-in-chief, but any member of the editorial board can actually write the editorial. And when we talk about editorial, there's one question before previous board exam, which part of the newspaper enhances critical thinking? So that's the editorial actually, no? In Filipino, how do we call editorial? That's Pangulong Tudling. Ang Pangulong Tudling ay tumata sa umahasa sa ating critical na pag-iisip because we provide arguments, logical arguments, and of course, with the corresponding evidences, no, regarding an issue, hot issue in the nation, or hot issue or hot topic at that particular time. Okay. Item number three, English. Which newspaper element typically appears at the beginning of an article and provides a brief summary of the content? A, byline; B, headline; C, sidebar; letter D, masthead. Okay. So appears at the beginning of an article and provides a brief summary of the content. So here, no, beginning of an article provides a brief summary. It's actually the headline. No, headline actually summarizes, no, the content. No, so it's actually the summary. It summarizes the content of the article. But if, for example, the board exam is very specific as to the first, for example, first paragraph of the article, which actually provides the summary of or the gist of the newspaper. That is what we call lead. All right, so we call it the lead, or in Filipino we call it ano yan, pamatnubay, no? Lead or pamatnubay. Well, the headline, of course, bilang ulo ng balita, it acts as a summary of the article. Kaya nga, yung iba, if you are a busy person, you just read the headline and you know what are the current topics or the current issues transpiring in the country. Okay? So byline lists the author's names as we mentioned. Headline provides the title and a concise summary of the content. So basically, it's a summary, a gist of the story. However, pag present ang lead, you will answer the lead because the lead is the first paragraph of the story, summarizes or serves as the gist of the story. Sidebar offers additional or supplementary information, while the masthead displays publication details and staff listings. So in US, we call it the nameplate, while in UK, we call it the title page. Okay, so that's the masthead. Okay, so for example, here, the Philippine Star here is the masthead, and it has a slogan here: truth shall prevail. And you can see the banner line or the banner headline or the streamer: mass protests call for VP impeachment. So this is the biggest headline of the news story or the newspaper. We call it the banner line or the banner headline or the streamer. And you can see some other headlines here which summarizes the story. But again, the first paragraph in this case for Philippine Star, they actually in the lead story, they make it bold, so that's the lead here. So that's the gist of the story. So any first paragraph, which is one sentence paragraph of the story, is the gist or the lead of the story. Okay. So in this example, for example, this one, so this is our headline: Senate okayed ACA fund lawmakers. Zubiri, Romualdez agree on ceasefire, IME sets probe. So basically, this can be an extension of your headline, no? It could be a deck, no? Sometimes these can be found here before the main headline. We call it the kicker naman. So this one by Delon Porcalia is the byline. So this is the byline, and this in bold font style or type font here is the lead. Now, Senator Amy Marcos knew about the $26.7 billion allocated for the Ayuda sa Kapos ang Kita program, or AKAP, under the Department of Social Welfare and Development, DSWD, as she signed the bicameral conference committee report when the Senate approved the 2024 national budget. So basically, that's the summary or the lead of the news article. So we call it the lead, L-E-A-D or L-E-D-E. No? So that's the lead. And the lead, no, next time you encounter in the board is actually the summary or the gist of the story. Gaya nga sinabi ko, pag wala kang makitang lead, you answer the headline. Pag may lead, then answer the lead. And of course, andyan na yung ating content ng ating news article. Okay? And remember that our headline is always in the present tense. Okay? Mass protests call for VP impeachment. Marcos very served by China sleeper agents. Wage must not heard. Very ano lang yan. PNP official among fatalities. Fujiguro maybe, wait. Okay, wala dyan masyado, right? Eto, no? Zubiri Romualdo agree on ceasefire. So we use actually the present tense, no? Of the verb. We don't use past tense. Like for example, Zubiro Waldes agreed, no, on ceasefire, hindi. IME sets probe. No? So basically, no, we use again the present tense just in case itanong what tense of the verb is being used for the for the very for the typical headline, then we use the present tense. Okay? So this one kasi saying okay, dakab fan, kailangan ng i-passive to since ibig sabihin inaprubahan. Okay? So approved the account fund by the lawmakers. Okay? So what else? Ano pa? Okay, puwede rin, no, of course you have the captions of the photos, kailangan yung caption na yan, and then you have the volume and number, no, for our, under the masthead meron kayong volume and number, the date of the story, the date of the issue, I mean, ilang section and how many pages. Sometimes, it is, indicated here, and you can see here, another photo, okay? So yan, ayan, signature drive for People's Initiative to continue. DepEd checking data breach after hacking. Advincula only God's love is forever. So this one is a speech story. You put colon no after the speaker. No, Advincula, that's the speaker. Only God's love is forever. This is the most important quotable no from the speech. So you can actually put it here and you can put direct and indirect quotes here. Okay. Then Senate okays on second reading 100 pesos daily wage increase. So you can see, no, again, present tense, no, hindi natin nakalagay dito okayed, right? Kagaya nung yung passive here dito, no. Okay, ibig sabihin, um, ano pa lang, no, nag-okay sila, no, on second reading. Okay, but this one, okay na, approved na to. This one is still under second reading. Okay, so daily wage increase. So ano pa, yun lang naman for now, okay? Item number 4, social science. The first Philippine president from the Ilocos region was blank. A. Fidel Ramos, B. Elpidio Carino, C. Ferdinand Marcos Sr., D. Ferdinand Marcos Jr. So what's the answer here? Future LPTs. All right. So of course, the first Philippine president from the Ilocos. Now, when we talk about the Ilocos region, that includes Pangasinan, La Union, Ilocos Sur, and Ilocos Norte. And so we have Elpidio Quirino. So Elpidio Quirino is the first Philippine president from the Ilocos region. Okay, so tignan natin yung mga Philippine president, no, per province here. So we have here Emilio F. Aguinaldo, the first president, the youngest to become president, Emilio Fami Aguinaldo from Cavite, no? So, siya rin ang nagwagayway no ng bandila ng Pilipinas sa Kawit Cavite nung idineklara ang kalayaan noong June 12, 1898. So that's Emilio Aguinaldo. So anong kanyang uh, moniker? So tinatawag siyang Magdalo. Okay? So Manuel Quezon, no, ito ay mula sa lalawigan ng Aurora sa gitnang Luzon. So Manuel Quezon is the uh, first president, no, of course, of the Commonwealth government. So the president of the Commonwealth government. Okay. Then we have Jose P. Laurel from Batangas, the president during the Japanese puppet government. Okay. So that's Jose P. Laurel from Batangas. Sergio Osmeña Sr. from Cebu. No. So from Cebu naman si President Sergio Osmeña Cebu, which was initially called La Villa de San Miguel, and then eventually tinawag ding Ciudad del Santísimo Nombre de Jesus. We also have Manuel A. Rojas from Capiz, no, sa Panay Island, no. So that's Manuel Rojas. We also have Elpidio Arquerino from Ilocos Sur, no, the first president from the Ilocos region. That's Elpidio Carino. Ang una ring nagkaroon ng impeachment complaint pero hindi nag-progress ang impeachment complaint so hindi yan natuloy. But of course, alam natin sa kasaysayan kung sino yung first impeached president. So malalaman natin a little later. Okay? So Ramon F. Magsaysay mula sa lalawigan ng Zambales, sa gitnang Luzon, the man of the masses, the champion of the masses. Unfortunately, namatay siya ng maaga, no? Binuksan niya, by the way, ang Malacanang sa common tao or the common people. Very open sa ating mga mamamayang Pilipino. And Ramon Magsaysay died, no, in a plane crash on March 17, 1957. So saan nag-crash ang kanyang sinasakyang eroplano? Sa isang bundok sa Cebu. We call it the Mount Manunggal in Cebu. Sakay ng kanyang yung pangalan ng sinasakyan niya is Mount Pinatubo, since Zambales is known for the Mount Pinatubo, no? Because Mount Pinatubo is situated in the boundary of Pampanga, Tarlac, and Zambales. At pag tinanong sa board exam, dahil natanong na to before, kailan ulit pumutok ang Mount Pinatubo? Okay, so that is year 1991. Alright, so June 1991, to be exact, June 12, 1991, nung pumutok ang Mount Pinatubo, which that is actually happened after its 600-year slumber ng pagkakatulog niya ng 600 taon. Carlos Garcia mula sa probinsya ng Bohol naman, Filipino First Policy. Kilala si Garcia sa kanyang Filipino First Policy. Diosdado P. Macapagal Sr. mula sa Pampanga, gitnang Luzon muli ito. And pag tinanong sa board exam, laging natatanong, sinong pangulo ang naglipat ng independensya or kalayaan ng Pilipinas mula July 4 to June, back to June 12. So that is Diosdado P. Macapagal Sr. Remember, nagkaroon tayo ng paglaya mula sa mga Amerikanong July 4, 1946. At since then, ipinagdiriwang natin ang kalayaan ng July 4. But eventually, sabi ni President Diosdado Macapagal, kailangang ibalik natin sa June 12 ang tunay nating kalayaan natin mula sa mga Kastila ang ating pagdiriwang ng kalayaan. Okay? Ferdinand E. Marcos Sr., Ilocos Norte, okay? At kilala sa kanyang bagong lipunan. So, Ferdinand E. Marcos ang bagong lipunan. Okay? And of course, the longest serving president. Okay? So, Corazon si Aquino mula ulit sa gitnang Luzon, Tarlac ito. Okay, mula naman sa Tarlac, the first female president of the Republic of the Philippines, the widow of Benigno Ninoy Aquino Jr. And later, no, ang kanyang anak na si Benigno Simeon C. Aquino III will become a president. Okay? Not to mention, yung anak din ni Diosdado Macapagal ay naging presidente, the name of Gloria Macapagal Arroyo. And of course, the son of the dictator Ferdinand E. Marcos Sr., President Bongbong Marcos. Okay? So Fidel V. Ramos mula sa Pangasinan, mula rin ito sa Ilocos Region. Fidel V. Ramos, the first Protestant president at kilala sa kanyang Philippines 2000. Okay? Alright, then we have the Joseph E. Estrada, Metro Manila, no, walang probinsya. So sa Metro Manila, si President Joseph Ejercito Estrada, no. So isa itong aktor na naluklok, no, sa pwesto bilang pagkapangulo and the first president to be impeached pero hindi nag-progress, no. Bago man mag-progress, naka-resign na po, no, si President Joseph Estrada and so itinuloy ang kanyang termino ni President Gloria Macapagal Arroyo at that time is his vice president. No? So Gloria Macapagal Arroyo was then the vice president who assumed and took oath as the next president and finished the term of President Estrada. Then after which, no, kaya ito ay pangalawa sa mahabang panunungkulan kasi after which, kasi an unfinished term is not considered a term and so tumakbo ulit, no, si President Gloria Macapagal Arroyo sa pagkapangulo. Okay, mula siya sa Pampanga, anak nga ni Diosdado Macapagal. And yeah, eventually nanalo siya. Okay? So kilala siya bilang mahusay, no? Kasi nagkaroon ng global recession in 2009 pero we managed, no, to survive. The Philippine economy managed to survive kasi maganda ang economic policy ni Gloria Macapagal Arroyo. Ekonomista siya, no? At mahusay ang kanyang economic policy kaya hindi po tayo na masyado naapektuhan ng global recession. Doon naman tayo nagpapasalamat kay President Gloria Macapagal Arroyo sa kabila ng mga kontrobersiya, no, na kinaharap niya like the Hello Garci scandal. Okay? Then we also have we have of course President Benigno S. Aquino III muli sa gitnang Luzon, no, Tarlac, no, at anak ni President Corazon Coangco Aquino. Okay? So nakilala naman siya sa kanyang kung walang kurap, walang mahirap, no, campaign and bawal wangwang, no, yung mga yan. So matuwid na daan actually, no. So treading the right path. So that's Benigno S. Aquino III. At estudyante siya, no, ni President Gloria Macapagal Arroyo. Ekonomista din ang kanyang mindset and so marami tayong naging savings, no, ng panahon ni President Benigno Aquino III na minana naman ng sumunod na presidente President Rodrigo Roa Duterte, the first Mindanaoan president and the oldest to become president at the age of 70. So mula siya sa Davao City, anong probinsya? Davao del Sur, no? So that's Rodrigo Roa Duterte. So saan siya nakilala? Sa kanyang war on drugs, no? So talagang very ano siya doon, no? Sa kanyang war on drugs. And of course, our 17th president, President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. No? Mula of course sa Ilocos Region, sa Ilocos Norte. At kung ang kanyang tatay ay bagong lipunan, sa kanya naman ang bagong Pilipinas. Kaya nga sa mga ahensya ng pamahalaan ay inaawit, no, ang bagong Pilipinas theme at sinusumpa or pinanunumpaan ang bagong Pilipinas Pledge. Okay, so those are our 17 presidents of the Republic of the Philippines. Alright, item number 5, Filipino. Kung bibilangin ang pantig sa bawat taludtod ng tula, ito ang makukuha: A. Talinghaga, B. Kaliktan, C. Tugma, D. Sukat. Ano po ito? Okay, so ito po ay walang iba kundi sukat, no? So, ang bawat taludtod ng tula, bawat pantig nito ay bahagi ng sukat. Hindi siya talinghaga sapagkat ang talinghaga ay malalim at matalinghagang pagpapahayag sa tula. Paggamit ito ng mga ekspresyon na matatalinghaga, kaliktan ay kagandahan ng pananalita at paggamit ng masining ng mga salita sa tula. Ang kaliktan ay may salitang ugat na rikit, no? Nang ibig sabihin ay ganda. Okay? Tugma, ang pagkakapareho ng tunog sa dulo ng mga taludtod, maaaring may tugma, maaaring wala namang tugma. So kapag ang tula, no, natanong na to before sa board exam, ay walang tugma, tinatawag natin tong berso blanco or malayang taludturan. Wala siyang tugma, no, sa dulo, maaaring dulo ng magkasunod na taludtod o dulo ng alternating taludtod, no? Ano ba yan? Alternative, like A, A, B, C, D, right? So, yung A to C magkatugma, B to D magkatugma. So, maaaring ganon. Okay? Sukat, bilang ng pantig sa bawat taludtod ng isang tula. At pag sinabi natin taludtod, no, sa tula, we refer to it as the line of the poem. So, for example, ito ang pamagat ng tula, Taliban ng Bayan, para sa mga babaeng frontliners. Isinulat ito ni Rio Alma. Pag nakita sa board exam, sino si Rio Alma? Si Rio Alma, yan ang kanyang sagisag panulat. Siya po ay si Virgilio Almario. Okay? So makikita natin isang taludtod, pangalawa, pangatlo, pang-apat na taludtod, we're referring to the line. So here we have 4 lines. The unang taludtod, ikalawa, ikatlo, ikaapat. The first, second, third, and fourth line. Ngayon, itong apat na taludtod na ito ay bumubuo ng buong, no? Itong buo na yan, tinatawag naman nating saknong. So saknong in English is what we call the stanza naman. Okay? So that's stanza. So line, then the whole is stanza. Kung bibilangan natin 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, may 5 saknong at ang bawat saknong ay na binubuo ng 4 na taludtod. So tinatanong din ang taludtod at saknong. Huwag pong kakalimutan. Item number 6, science. What part of the Earth is composed of iron and nickel? A. Lithosphere, B. Mantle, C. Asthenosphere, D. Core. Okay? So po, ano po ang ating isasagot? Alright, so iron and nickel, of course, walang iba kundi the core. And remember that the inner core, no, is a solid core composed of iron and nickel. The outer core is actually liquid. While the mantle, of course, the thickest, the crust is the thinnest. Ayan. So, lithosphere, composed of the crust and upper mantle. So, yung lithosphere, crust, then the upper mantle, we call it the lithosphere. And primarily made of rocks and minerals, not iron and nickel. While the mantle, the thickest layer, composed mainly of hot silicate rocks. And below the lithosphere is the asthenosphere, a semi-fluid layer within the mantle that allows tectonic plates to move. Then after asthenosphere, you have the mesosphere and of course, the outer and the inner core. Okay? So next, item number 7. Ang Filipino, ang salitang ugat ng sinukuan ay A. Sukuan, B. Sinuko, C. Sikuan, D. Suko. Alright, so what is your answer here? Future top-notchers? Alright, of course, sinukuan, suko, no? Suko ang salitang ugat. Suko, sinukuan. So, kung titignan natin, S-U-K-O, no? So, meron siyang gitna, no? Meron siyang gitlapi dito at meron din siyang hulapi, no? Gitna at huli. Okay? So, some notes lang, no? Pag tinanong sa board exam, last general to surrender o huling sumuko, no, to the American forces after the Philippine-American War on September 25, 1903, walang iba kundi si Simeon Ola. So, Simeon Ola po ang last general to surrender to the American forces after the Philippine-American War. Well, who took over as leader of the Philippine Revolutionary Army after Aguinaldo's capture, who surrendered on April 13, 1902, no? Okay? Na a year after, no? Ah, a year after nito sumuko naman si Simeon Ola, no? Kaya siya ay last general to surrender. So this one naman is Miguel Malvar. So nagkakaroon ng confusion kung si Miguel Malvar nga ba ang huling general na sumuko o si Simeon Ola. So based on data, based on record, Simeon Ola September 25, 1903, Miguel Malvar April 30, 1902. Okay? Then pag tinanong leader of the Tagalog Republic who continued resistance against American rule, yan ay si that's correct. Macario Sakay. Alright, so that's Macario Sakay. Item number 8, science. Disturbed ecosystem can recover naturally through blank. A, biological rebirth. B, ecological succession. C, ecological revolution. D, population evolution. Okay, so the disturbed ecosystem can recover naturally through, of course, none other than what's your answer? Future LPTs, that's correct. Letter B, ecological succession. So tatandaan, nakaka-recover ang na-disturb na ecosystem through naturally and through natural process called the ecological succession. And we have two no types of ecological succession, the primary succession and the secondary succession. For primary succession, saan nagsisimula ito? No, it starts with the bare rock, no? So very bare rock lang yan. Then lichens, small annual plants and lichens, then grasses and perennials hanggang siya ay maging climax community. So from pioneer species to intermediate species to climax community. Again, for primary succession, it starts with bare rock. On the other hand, for the secondary succession, we always start with a disturbance, all right? Or a disruption. In this case, the start is a disruption called fire. Nagkaroon ng wildfire, so nasira ang community, so magbibilang ulit tayo ng taon hanggat maibalik no, sa dati yung community. So it will actually regrow, nagkakaroon ng rebirth, and we call it ecological succession. Again, the ecological succession type which starts with a disruption or a disturbance is what we call secondary succession. Okay? Item number 9, Filipino. Yumanig ang gusali sa kanyang mga yabag. Ito'y isang patlang. A. Pagpapalit saklaw. B. Pagwawangi. C. Pagmamalabis. D. Pagsasatao. Alin po ang wastong sagot? Kapag nakita ang tanong na 'to, yumanig ang gusali sa kanyang mga yabag. So this is actually shows what? That's correct, no? It actually shows pagmamalabis, no? Very exaggerated, no? In English, pagmamalabis is hyperbole or hyperbole or hyperbole. Pagpapalit sa klaw is sinigduki, no? A part, no? We use the name of a part to represent the whole. Pagwawangis is pagwawangis is metaphor, right? So you actually have an indirect comparison. So metaphor. While pagtutulad is simile naman, where you use direct comparison like tulad ng, gaya ng, yan. So pagwawangis is indirect. While pagsasatao is personification. Okay? So yan. Alright, so here, pagpapalit saklaw, paggamit ng bahagi upang tukuyin ang kabuuan o kabaliktaran hindi ito angkop no sa pangungusap. For example, ang ginagamit pagpapalit saklaw, for example, hindi na makatutungtong ang iyong paa sa aming pamamahay, no? So it's not really the paa that na hindi lang dapat. Ibig sabihin ba the other parts can actually go to the house? Hindi naman. Ibig sabihin, it actually represent the whole na totally hindi ka pwede nang pumunta sa bahay kahit paa lang yung tinukoy niya doon. So the paa there represents the entire presence of you. No? So you don't have to show yourself to that particular house. Pagwawangis tuyang paghahambing ng walang gamit na tulad o gaya. So that's direct comparison. Okay? Okay? Ng walang gamit, tuwirang paghahambing na walang gamit na ay okay, direct comparison. Okay? Ibig sabihin. Okay, I stand corrected. Direct comparison, you don't use gaya ng or tulad ng. So, winawangis mo sila. So, we call it the metaphor. While the simile, may indirect. So, you use like or gaya ng or tulad ng. Pagmamalabis, eksaherasyon, pagpapalabis sa isang katangian at kilos. And kung nakita nyo, no, yumanig ang buong gusali sa kanyang yabag. Hindi naman siya higante para mangyari yon. So, it's really exaggeration. Okay? So, pagmamalabis. While pagsasatao is pagbibigay ng katangiang pantawa sa bagay o hayop or personification. For example, kumaway ang mga puno habang ako ay naglalakad. Matapos nun ay umiyak ang langit, diba? So, umulan, maaaring gano'n. Hindi naman umiiyak. No, we're not used to say the clouds are crying, but that's personification. So, we use that as part of our figure of speech. Okay? So item number 10, social science, who was the second editor of La Solidaridad with the pen name Dolores Manapat, A. Marcel del Pilar, B. Graciano Lopez Haina, C. Jose Rizal, D. Mariano Ponce. So what is your answer, future top notchers? Of course, the second editor of La Solidaridad is none other than Marcelo H. Del Pilar. So letter A is the correct answer na gumamit ng salisag panulat na Dolores Manapat. Okay? So he used the Dolores Manapat as his nom de guerre or pen name. Graciano Lopez Haina is the first editor of La Solidaridad who used the pen name Diego Laura. While Jose Rizal is a contributor to La Solidaridad, was never its editor, and used several pen names like Laong Laan and Dimasalang. Okay? While Mariano Ponce is a writer and financier of La Solidaridad and used also several pen names like Naning, Tekbalang, and Kali Polaco. Okay? Item number 11, science. Which of the following branches of science deals with the study of matter, energy, and their transformation? A, chemistry, B, physics, C, biology, D, genetics. All right. So we talk about the study of matter, energy, and their transformation. That's correct. That's chemistry. So study of matter and its composition. While physics is study of matter and its relationship with energy. Biology is the study of living organisms. While genetics the study of genes and heredity. So pag tinanong sa board exam who's the father of modern chemistry, that's Antoine Lavoisier or Antoine Lavoisier. Physics, of course, can be classical or can be modern physics. Biology, who is considered as a father of biology, that's Aristotle, who also is considered as a father of invertebrate zoology and also the father of ancient taxonomy. So that's Aristotle. While the father of genetics, no, lagi ring lumalabas in Gen Ed, is Gregor Mendel. So pag wala kayong nakitang father of genetics, father of heredity, Gregor Mendel pa rin. All right. Item number 12, science. Jang Ok wants to know the length of the table. What instrument will he use? A, spring balance. B, graduated cylinder. C, ruler. D, thermometer. All right. So of course, for the length of the table, you will be using what? That's correct. That's the ruler. Okay. So spring balance for the force or weight, graduated cylinder for liquid volume, ruler for length or distance, and thermometer to measure temperature. Okay, so we use thermometer for temperature. Okay, item number 13, science. What is the beneficial effect of scientific development on education? A, control of illnesses. B, access of the knowledge source. C, better mobility. D, increased crop yield. Okay, alin po rito ang effect, no? Beneficial effect ng scientific knowledge or scientific development in the education sector. Okay, so what is your answer? Future top notchers. Of course, this is a very common question no, in the board exam. Letter B, access to knowledge source. So yan po ang isasagot natin pag nakita natin education, piliin yung one word dyan, knowledge. Education, knowledge. So that is the effect of scientific development in the education sector. Remember that scientific knowledge allows us to first develop new technologies. Remember, the technology is the application of science. Secondly, solve practical problems. We use science to solve practical problems. That's why we have our applied sciences and the mga practical sciences, right? So we need to solve the practical problems. And lastly, make informed decision. We have to have data-driven or science-driven decisions Even our policies now should be crafted based on science and based on data, based on research. Okay? So this is both individually, pwedeng individually or collectively as a society. Okay? So ilan lamang to sa mga pwedeng lumabas sa board exam in terms of the beneficial effect of scientific development in different areas. Okay? So pag agriculture, pag nakita nyo sa board exam, what is the beneficial effect of scientific development in agriculture? That's correct, crop, no? Increased crop yield. No? So one word crop is the clue word for agriculture. How about for transportation? What's our one word clue for that? For transportation, that's mobility. So greater mobility, right? Then for medicine, ano ang ating ano for medicine? Of course, diseases. So aanihin ang mga ng medicine ang mga diseases. How can scientific development help us in terms of medicine? That is control of diseases. All right? So that's control of diseases. How about communication? Just in case itanong naman, what's the scientific the beneficial effect of scientific development and communication? That's correct, faster and more efficient information exchange naman. So our keyword here is information exchange. Okay? While in the environmental sector, that is innovation in conservation and pollution control. So conservation control, no? Conservation or pollution control. So innovations, no, in conservation pollution control are the beneficial effect of scientific development in the area of environment. So, ilan lamang po ito sa mga pwede, no, na matanong sa atin, no, for the beneficial effects of scientific development. Okay, let's proceed. Item number 14, Filipino. Matapos alagaan at pakainin sa palad, siya ay kinagat sa sariling kanang kamay. Ito'y may kahulugan sa A. Katrayduran sa negosyo, B. Kabastusan ng tao, C. Kawalang utang na loob, or letter D. Kawalan ng galang sa matanda. Okay? So, pag sinabing pinakain, no? Inalagaan, pero kinagat sa sariling kanang kamay. So, we're talking about there. What is that? Kawalan utang na loob. So letter C is the correct answer. And when we talk about kawalan ng utang loob, no, ang pahayag na ito ay patalinghagang ekspresyon na nangangahulugang pagtataksil o hindi pagtanaw ng utang loob sa taong tumulong o nagpakita ng kabutihan. So kahit inalagaan at binigyan ng tulong, sa huli ay sinaktan at pinagtaksilan ang nagmalasakit. So that is kawalan ng utang na loob. In Filipino value system, utang na loob refers to an obligation to appropriately repay a person who has done one a favor. Now, for example, natulungan ka niya dati, no? So may utang na loob ka sa kanya. So in other words, you have an extended gratitude and reciprocity. So just in case na lumabas, ano ang value na to na tumutukoy sa extended gratitude and reciprocity? We call it the utang na loob. Okay? And we have a lot of debate, no, in utang na loob kung maituturing bang utang na loob ang ilang mga sirkumstansya. Okay? Item number 15, English. Which of the following lines is a simile? A. Holding wonder like a cup. B. Eyes that love you, arms that hold. C. Life is loneliness. D. Buy it and never count the cost. So, which of the following is a simile? Remember, a simile in Filipino pagtutulad ay ginagamitan ng mga words na like, as, no? So, yung mga yan. So, here, of course, our answer is letter A, holding wonder like a cup. Okay? So, that is indirect comparison, no? Compared to metaphor, which has a direct comparison. Okay, so simile is a figure of speech that compares two different things using the words like or as to create a vivid image or emphasis. In this example, her smile was as bright as the sun. So the smile is being compared to the sun using words like as, no, or like, no, which is simile or pagtutulad. Okay? Item number 16, social science. Who was the world's oldest and longest serving head of state? A. Robert Mugabe. B. Queen Elizabeth II. C. Beji Caid Essebsi. D. Abdul Halim of Kedah. Okay, the world's oldest and longest serving head of state, which among the following? So what's your answer? Future LPTs. Okay? So the answer here is none other than, that's correct, it's Queen Elizabeth II, the world's oldest and longest serving head of state among the options. Okay, so Robert Mugabe is a former president of Zimbabwe who ruled for 37 years. Queen Elizabeth II served as Queen of the United Kingdom for 70 years and 214 days, making her the world's longest serving head of state. While Beji Caid Essebsi is the oldest elected head of state at the age of 82 until 92 years old in Tunisia, while Abdul Halim of Kedah served twice as the King of Malaysia. Okay? Item number 17. Benigno Ninoy Aquino Jr. valiantly stood against the oppressive martial law era in the Philippines by choosing to be imprisoned and eventually murdered rather than cooperate with with the dictatorial regime. Ninoy showed that he was blank, A silent, B sacrificial, C non-violent, D desperate. So what is your answer here? Ninoy Aquino. So nakita natin diyan, choose to be imprisoned, yung mga context cues natin, choose to be imprisoned and eventually murdered rather than cooperate with the dictatorial regime. So he did what? He did sacrifice himself. So that is letter B, sacrificial. No? So he chose to be imprisoned. He sacrificed to be imprisoned rather than cooperate with the dictatorial regime. So he demonstrated self-sacrifice by enduring imprisonment and ultimately giving his life for democracy rather than yielding to an oppressive regime. His willingness to suffer and even face death for the sake of his country exemplifies great sacrifice. So he's known for his quote, the Filipino is worth dying for. So that's Benigno Ninoy Aquino Jr., which is very appropriate as today we celebrate the 39 years of the EDSA People Power Revolution. Item number 18. Which historic event in the Philippines in 1986, known for its peaceful mass demonstrations, led to the end of a dictatorial rule and became an international admired model of nonviolent resistance? A. COVID-19 pandemic, B. Propaganda movement, C. Bagong Lipunan, D. People Power Revolution. Of course, syempre alam na natin 'to at dapat hindi natin makakalimutan, we never forget this historic event in our dear country or beloved country, the Philippines, that's People Power Revolution. Ito yung naman tinatawag na nonviolent resistance, the model of nonviolent resistance, the EDSA People Power Revolution, which transpired on February 25, 1986, 39 years ago from today. Okay? So that is the People Power Revolution, historic event in the country involved a peaceful mass demonstration against the dictator Ferdinand Marcos Sr. It led to the restoration of democracy and became an internationally recognized model of non-violent resistance. Again, sacrificial, Benigno Aquino Jr., non-violent resistance, people power revolution. That's on February 25, as I mentioned, 1986, 39 years ago at this very day. Okay? So there, no, for our celebration this year, the EDSA People Power Revolution, although a working holiday, a special working holiday, is themed EDSA at 39 Sama-samang Pagsulong, Lakas ng Bayan. Okay? Item number 19. The peaceful People Power Revolution in 1986 successfully ended the one-man rule during the martial law era in the Philippines. This historic achievement inspired other nations such as Romania, Poland, and Germany to unite for blank. A example, B freedom, C separation, D overthrow. Of course, we're talking about here, unite for freedom. No? So tayo ay nagkaisa para sa ating inaasam-asam na kalayaan. So yan lang po ang nangyari no sa EDSA People Power Revolution. Lakas ng tao, lakas ng tayo, no? So the power of the people which has been used as a model for non-violent resistance. So the People Power Revolution 1986 demonstrated how peaceful, united action could overthrow an oppressive regime and restore democracy. So this movement inspired other nations such as Romania, Poland, and Germany to fight for their own freedom from authoritarian rule. Okay? And just in case, no? So in Romania in December 1989, they had the Romanian Revolution, a mass revolt against communist leader Nicolae uh, Shes, Shes, Ceausescu, leading to his overthrow and execution. Germany, November 9, 1989, fall of the Berlin Wall, a nonviolent movement that led to the collapse of the Berlin Wall, symbolizing the end of communist rule in East Germany. While Poland in 1980s, they had the Solidarity Movement, a labor and democracy movement led by Lech Walesa that fought against communist rule and paved the way for free elections in 1989. So thank to our EDSA People Power Revolution in 1986, which has been an inspiration to these movements and to these revolutions. Okay. And of course, item number 20, last item, social science, who was the widow of Benigno Ninoy Aquino Jr., who became a central figure in the EDSA People Power Revolution and later became the first female president of the Philippines. A. Imelda Marcos, B. Miriam Defensor Santiago, C. Corazon Aquino, or letter D. Leni Robredo. Of course, none other than Maria Corazon Cojuangco Aquino. Letter C is the correct answer. The first female president of the Republic of the Philippines, the mother of democracy, and a key figure and a key player during the EDSA People Power Revolution in 1986, 39 years ago. And of course, no, as echoed by many, we will never forget. Okay? So some let notes lang before we end. Just in case matanong, of course, first female president, we did mention that. That's Corazon Aquino from 1986 to 1992. The first female vice president, sino nga ulit? Ang ating first female vice president, of course, that's Gloria Macapagal Arroyo from 1998 to 2001. Okay? First female senator, sino na nga po ulit? Ang ating first female senator, si Jeronima Pecson from 1947 to 1953. Jeronima Pecson. Okay? Sino nga ulit ang first female speaker of the House of Representatives? Okay? Na naging vice president, eventually naging president, at naging House Speaker. That's Gloria Macapagal Arroyo from 2018 to 2019. All right? Then we also have the first female representative. Sino nga yan? Si Carmen Planas in 1941, who became the first woman elected to the National Assembly. All right? So I think this is the end of our 20 item drill, excuse me. 20 item drill, which I actually called from our page, Sir Dan Rogan Lep Review page. So I've been posting questions and we will be rationalizing them through our video review drills so that it will really help you remember the concepts and hopefully be able to help you pass and nail, no, and have a high board rating for general education. So yeah, so thank you so much. No, laban, papasa tayo, keep fighting. My dear future LPTs, my dear future licensed professional teachers. As much as I can, no, we will be uploading more drills for general education and eventually later some prof ed questions drill now based from the postings that we are doing now in our lab review page. Okay, so don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Teacher Dan Rogayan. For the past review drills, you can actually find it in our YouTube channel. I do have the Gen Ed, Prof Ed, and of course for those who are science majors, yes, abangan po ninyo ang ating mga science majorship drills pa. So maraming salamat, no? It's been a very prolific session with all of you. Don't forget, no, to comment, no, how many items did you get out of 20 sa ating Gen Ed drill for this episode. Once again, this is Teacher Dan Rogayan, your Ag Amazing Guro, saying that kakayanin nyo yan, mapapasayan, at maitatap natin ang board exam. Once again, thank you so much and till our next video.